Wow, when the internet blows up, it blows up. And I'm going to add some more fuel and some more oxygen of publicity. I'm going to do it. But at what risk? What might happen if I upset someone? What could the consequences be? Well, maybe nothing. Or maybe someone will notice my video and have it taken down. Maybe I'll dispute that and I'll be hauled before a court of law. Maybe their lawyers will be cleverer than mine, and almost certainly more expensive. I'll lose. My video will remain taken down and I'll have damages and costs to pay. But I'm still going to do it. I'll just be careful with my language. Okay, this is the issue. A fellow YouTuber, I say fellow, but he's much better at it than me, with more subscribers, more views, and a YouTube play button. He's the good guy in this story. He runs a channel, I guess I'll have to say this, I'll risk it, on audio repair. There are lots of channels on audio and electronics in general, so I don't think I'm giving anything away with that the claimant's lawyer can get me on. So anyway, a piece of equipment arrived on his repair bench. I can't tell you what, for reasons that by now I hope are obvious. I probably can't even tell you the price, but it's expensive. And I'm not calling $1,000 expensive in this context. Much more expensive. This equipment has a certain job to do in an audio system. And again, I'm not going to stick my neck up by saying what it is. Those damages and costs might be more even than the price of the equipment. What the equipment does is very precise and exacting, and it's not like any old Class D power amp that you'd buy on Amazon. It's something that if you're an audiophile, a rich audiophile, you will want done to a very high standard. I'm going to have to invent some names to hide behind. I'll call the YouTube audio repair guy Fix-It Fred. The equipment is the Mason Vet Boss Furrow. I'm going to get into so much trouble. Anyway, the story was that the Boss Furrow had a buzz in one channel. Well, we've all had problems like this, and we would be confident that someone like Fix-It Fred would be able to fix it. What we wouldn't know is how much detail Fred would go into through the repair process and also explain what's going on extremely well to his YouTube audience. What Fred did, summarising here, was reverse engineer the Boss Furrow and make his own version of the service manual. Very, very detailed. Looking like the real deal from a high-end manufacturer. He used this manual to explain some important aspects of how the Boss Furrow works, with some valuable first principles insights. He didn't criticise anything about the unit other than perhaps hinting that the circuitry was based around concepts dating at least back to the 1980s. The hint, at least as far as I heard it, was that this isn't the technology of life forms from Venus and Mars, but technology that has been known to humans for quite some time. The designer of the equipment didn't like Fred's video. He issued a copyright claim to YouTube and had the video taken down for copyright. Copyright. Now, of course, there is such a thing as fair use. I sometimes feature clips of music or video and comment on them as a review. A review is fair use, or fair dealing, as we call it in the UK. So I get an automated copyright claim, I dispute it on the grounds of fair use, and the claim gets released. If I play fair, copyright owners will play fair too. But what if a video features things that can't be copyrighted? Can it be taken down in a copyright claim? Yes, it can, which is, apparently, what happened here. A video can be taken down for copyright, even though nothing in that video can be copyrighted. Let me backtrack a little. What if you were an audio designer and you designed a device using known techniques applied to a high standard, but you didn't want anyone to know that, and you wanted people to think that your techniques were really new and unique? Well, one thing you could do is grind off the part numbers from many of the important components. The other is to try and prevent people explaining how your techniques work. I've consulted Google on copyright and patent law, and what I get, in my own understanding, is that you can't copyright an electronic circuit because it's a functional object, and you can't copyright functions. Yes, you can patent an electronic design, but it has to be original and not obvious. Hey, if you can find the method in a datasheet from the 1980s, no patent for you, matey. What you can do, though, is take steps to protect your trade secrets. One advantage of a trade secret is that you can keep your methods to yourself until someone else figures it out, which can give you more time to exploit your idea than a patent would. So what can you do to protect what you consider to be your trade secrets? Grind off the part numbers, that's a start. And so yes, inside the Boss Furrow, Fix-It Fred found many components anonymised in such a way. But what's a designer to do if someone makes a video explaining how your extremely expensive product works and shows that no supposedly advanced beings from other interplanetary systems were involved? Invoke copyright and have YouTube take down Fix-It Fred's video. Now, I'd like to say that claiming copyright in this instance is completely bogus, but I won't do that. Look up Simon Singh and chiropractic if you want to see how much trouble that could get me into. Ultimately, a copyright claim can only be definitively decided in a court of law, no matter how bogus it may be. So what I'm saying is nothing more than a load of hot air. I said earlier that this issue has blown up. A YouTuber, whom I'll call Armstrong Horseman, or AH, has been very vocal on the topic. I'd go as far as to say that he's gone off on a bit of a rant, and as well as criticising the copyright claim, he comments somewhat unfairly on matters that aren't really related. So, in my mind, what are the issues? Firstly, this is an extremely expensive piece of kit. Extremely. Anyone who said that the price tag is totally unreasonable and unjustifiable is making a very fair comment. A fair comment, whether they are correct or not. Secondly, I have no reason to believe that the performance of this item is anything less than first class. Fix-It Fred explains some of the design techniques very well. They're classic and proven, and there's no reason they shouldn't work well here. Value for money? Well, ask that to someone who wants the best of everything and has the money to spend. Some people literally have so much money they're struggling to find things to spend it on. If someone, an audio designer, wants to satisfy that market, well, I don't see why not. AH makes quite a few disparaging comments on the build quality of the item. Fix-It Fred doesn't explicitly, but one might form an interpretation from his video that he's not entirely impressed. The item had an electronic fault. AH criticises the item as though the hum on one channel was intrinsic to the design. Of course, with any type of equipment, one design can be more fault-prone than another, but we have no evidence that this wasn't simply a one-off random fault in a random component, and it was just one tiny component. But about this tiny component, is this type of component known to be unreliable? Or could it be unreliable if used beyond conditions in which it should be reliable? That's a whole big question that I might address in a future video. I'm sure commenters will be able to speculate what I'm talking about here. So yes, okay, there are issues with the Boss Furrow from Mason Vet. Known issues like the price, known unknowns like the anonymised circuit components, and who knows what the unknown unknowns are. But the issue is, the big issue, is it fair for Mason Vet to issue a copyright claim and have Fix-It Fred's video taken down? What's going to happen next? Will AH have more to say, or perhaps anyone else who wants to join in? That's all I have for now, but I have some important stuff to end with. Everything I've said here is conjecture, speculation, and hot air. I don't want my video taken down. As for your comments below, whatever you say, you own it. I do not. I deny all responsibility. This has been fun, hasn't it? See you soon. Oh, you want to see the original video, the one that's been taken down? I can't tell you how, but I've watched it through several times and I can totally recommend.